what's up YouTube? It's Retro Gaming Langs here for another pickups video. I did say that back in my September, at the end of my September's video vlog, whatever you want to call it, that I wasn't going to do any pickups, and literally a couple of days into it, I just managed to find a few games, and it does spiral, doesn't it? I really would love to sort of hamper down the spending, really, because I've spent a lot over the last few months in terms of games, but you know, you only live once, don't you? Right, well, the first thing we've got to address, dare I say it, is the pandemic that is distributing itself through the land of the tubes. And that isn't the essentials buying of the PS3 games, but gamers, certain gamers wearing gentlemen's robes. So, in honour of Retro Red Steve, I have donned my gentleman's robe. I'm sorry, Steve. You know I'm only joking. You know, he is known as the Hugh Hefner of the retro gaming scene. Hope that made you chuckle, mate. I thought I'd put that on. That's always me on Instagram and stuff. I'm always messaging him and saying that he's got his gentleman's robe on, because him in his household, excuse me, I've got a terrible cold. I think he's in the mix of what I call the thermostat wars, which I lost out on last night because it was a bit cold. But luckily my wife's not here at the moment, so I'm winning at the moment. Right, let's get on with the video. What have I been watching over the last month? Quite a lot of videos again. When it gets to this time of year, it's cold and dark and you just want to watch a few videos. Talking of which, I've watched a video about a big YouTuber, American YouTuber, and it was quite an interesting subject, really, and I just thought I'd touch on it. I've touched on it before on my channel. If you go back to, I think, my September or August, it must have been my August pickups video. I referred to Tutti UK's video that I watched while I was on holiday because it was really, really interesting, quite informative, opened up my eyes to the world of YouTube. I've only been doing it a fairly short time, I feel. I'm not as experienced as these guys that have been doing it nearly 10 years, etc. But I came across this video the weekend because I've been ill in bed and just been watching lots of videos and stuff, and it was this very famous YouTuber. He's a big, I came across him through someone I knew, showed me a video of his, and he's very charismatic, very funny, big streamer, 17 million subscribers to his channel. So he's big. He's a big American YouTuber, and he was talking about the fact of how much money he earns, and it was quite eye-opening. And I just want this to sit with you and to educate those that might not know the score, really. So I do that with a lot of my hands. Yeah. So long and short of it was that he told how much he earned. And he started off by saying that obviously as a streamer, both on Twitch and on YouTube, he got donations, and those donations over a year consisted of $1 million. So people could donate while they were watching him stream, getting home from work, on the tube, on the bus, etc. Watch him streaming his videos, streaming his gaming, I should say. And he earned $1 million, whatever that equates to in pounds. It's close enough, in it. What, 900,000? I don't know, something like that, depending on the exchange rate. So I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. So people, they're working hard. And he basically said in this video that he was going to stop that. He's closed it off, and it's going to upset other streamers. That will be because he's obviously one of the big top dogs. People that only got maybe 1 million subscribers, they're going to feel like they've got to follow suit, you know? And that's what he was, the aim of the video was that he's going to do it, and he feels bad for taking people's money. On the next bit of the video, he says, and this is how much I earn from YouTube ad revenue. How much do you think he earned from YouTube ad revenue? More than $1 million. $35 million he earned. I was blown away by that. I fell off my chair. Bed, I was in bed at the time, playing Outrun in my pyjamas. I couldn't comprehend that he's taken $1 million of people's money that are hardworking, and he was saying that he felt guilty for that because he's getting this money, but he's getting extra money, and he's turned it off. But he got $35 million just from ad revenue from YouTube, and that's before sponsorship. And then he sort of backtracked a bit and said, "Well, look, I've got to pay people because I've got obviously a big team around me." Because he's a big YouTuber, 17 million subscribers. You know, to deal with all the admin, etc. That's quite a lot. But I'll let that sink in. 35 million on ad revenue. He took £1 million off people just for donations and stuff. Crazy. Yeah. But there we go. I thought I'd share that story because I just was beside myself listening to this guy. I can't remember his name now. He's a big YouTuber. You probably know the guy I'm on about. But he was sharing his earnings. Yeah, blew my mind. Anyway, moving on. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start this time with really old retro back up to, well, I've not bought much modern stuff recently. So we're going to start off with my very first pickup, which was for the Atari 2600. I don't own a 2600, I own the new 2600 Plus. This is Wizard of War. It's a maze sort of dungeony shooter type thing. Saw it, heard really good reviews for it, so I thought I'd get that. So I don't want to go for loads of stuff. It's purely for the fact that if you've not watched my videos before, I bought myself a couple of months ago an Atari 2600 Plus with wireless controller, and I just want to sort of, I know you can emulate this stuff, but I just wanted to get as close to it as possible. So that is my reasoning behind buying loose Atari cartridges, because you load it up, it projects the picture in HDMI straight away out the box. It's a beautiful little thing for, I think I paid about 45 quid for it. It's a bargain. So that was that one. I haven't tested that yet, so I'm going to try and test some of these tonight after this video. We've got Solar Fox. Again, it's supposed to be a very good shooter. Dirt cheap, you can pick these up. What I love about it, it's quite easy to get into. Instead of things like, dare I say, Neo Geo and some Super Nintendo cardboard, this stuff's easy to collect for. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I am a little bit, probably, it was a bit before my time. I was more of a Sega guy back in the sort of very early 90s, which I've said about before. But I'd love, you know, these things are brilliant. So I was really pleased to pick that up. I can't remember how much I picked this up for now. Went to my local retro gaming shop, and he used to have loads, but he doesn't have any anymore. And then I picked, again, this was off eBay. I'll get it out of the package. Excuse me, I've got a terrible cold still. Getting over a bit of the old flu. And I've got Centipede, so I thought I'd pick up Millipede as well. And I love the art style to that, really. And I want to say that if it had P on the back, it was PAL. I don't know, but yeah. So Millipede, again, so 3 to add to the Atari stuff. And next up, we've got 8-bit Master System. So I picked this up at the very start of October. I did a little short on it. I've really got into the Master System again. I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody is watching. I tend to go through sort of cycles. So I've stopped buying for the Atari now. There's a couple of games like Phoenix, or desperate after Phoenix, and a few others like Asteroids. But pretty much I'm done what I've set out to do, which is about 10-15 games. There might be the odd few more. There's is it Beam Rider for the Atari? Really would love that. But other than that, you know, I want to keep it probably minimum of 15 games or so for it. But the Master System, I'm really sort of getting back into it. A lot of nostalgia, bringing back. A friend of mine, Ash, had a Master System, the original Master System, back in the early 90s, and I'd go around his house and play Gavelius, as I mentioned in my Master System's anniversary video. Go check that out. It's on the channel. I'll leave a description, link in the description below. But Line of Fire, brilliant little shooter. Loved that. So really pleased to have that in the collection. Love the art style on it. You know, this is, for me, I love that sort of, I was fascinated with this back in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Never had one. But every time I went into my retro gaming shop, it wasn't retro, it was gaming shop back then. I was, you know, I'd always pick them up, but I should have pushed my parents to get Santa to buy me a Sega Master System. Then I went on a hunt for Wonder Boy. So we got Wonder Boy in Monsterland. I was quite surprised I didn't own it. I've got the original Wonder Boy, so I had to have this. And I know Retro Red Steve in his gentleman's robe is going to be over the moon that is in my collection. Really good game, but there is a bit of a caveat to this, so stay tuned on the channel. There's a reason behind this, why I'm saying this. It's an interesting little fact. So there's a video coming out after this that will talk about playing this on the Mega Drive, because obviously I don't have a Master System. I use the power base converter, always have done, because it saves space. And there's a bit of an oddity to this one, so stay tuned for that. And then obviously following on, as you do, excuse me, I was looking on eBay and this popped up. I have been after this for I don't know how long. I see other people on their channels have this, and I've been desperately after this for years. Played it on the original on the Switch, the remake. Do you know what? I'm going to be really honest here and say I was always mesmerised by the artwork. And when I got to finally play this years ago, I didn't originally like it. And then I played the Switch version, which is like the remake, remaster of it, and I absolutely loved it. And obviously with that one, like Alex the Kid, you can flick it between the original art style graphics to the modern stuff. And then played it on the Game Gear. I've got a loose copy on the game. I need to get a box copy on the Game Gear, really, I suppose. But yeah, I was really blown away by how much I loved this game. So it's funny how, dare I say, I was like that with Super Metroid. When I first played Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, didn't particularly like it. And I'm like a massive Metroid. Anybody that knows me, I love Metroid, love Zelda. But it's that first impressions. I think it's like some films, isn't it, where you watch it and you think, oh, this is great, I'm not sure about it. And actually, things click. And for me, this certainly clicks. And it's in immaculate condition. Really pleased with that, to have it in the collection. I think there's only one Wonder Boy game I don't have, which is the one I've got on the Mega Drive. So I don't know. Should I buy it? I don't know. Probably not. My wife would probably say no. And then I got this. Right, so I've just received this morning. Obviously it's got my address on, so I've just opened it up. I've not opened it up yet. So, another parcel. He says, oh, I'm doing this one-handed. Right, I'm going to have to put the camera down, open that up. Sorry. Got my tripod out so we can do this two-handed. And there it is. Ding dong. Happy days. I've been after this copy for a long time, actually. So, yeah. So let's get back to it. But yeah, really happy with that. Got the manual. I've been after this for a heck of a long time. So really pleased to have that in the collection. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so really pleased to have that. It was about, I don't know, about 9-10 years ago, a mate of mine lent me a Master System where I worked at. He had loads of games, and one of them was this, Enduro Racer, which my kids loved. And I fell in love with this, and I've got it on the arcade version of this on my Switch. I think you can get that. But yeah, I've been after that for a very long time. But funny enough, going back to Wonder Boy, the reason I've just forgotten to mention is that trying to find one with a manual that hasn't been written in is really hard work. I don't know if anybody, I can probably deal with a bit of pencil, but people used to write in them in biro and stuff. And it's probably the same for this, really. But yeah, I love a bit of Cloudmaster. Great little classic shooter. Really pleased. Love the art style again on that. And like I say, I've been really going on the splurge for Master System games. Right, next up we have got, for the Sega Mega Drive, another shooter. I've really been on a shooter journey, which is interesting, actually. We'll come to in a minute. But yeah, picked that one up. I paid a reasonable price for that because it's in immaculate condition. I think CX won about 35-40 quid for this. So I don't know what I paid. I think I paid about 35-40 quid for it, I think. So it wasn't from CEX. So yeah, pleased to have that. Been after that for a while as well, and loving my Mega Drive stuff. So yeah, stay tuned in the channel. There's going to be a nice thing coming from Japan. I am so excited. And I've not been so excited since I got my Super Nintendo and my Switch. So really pleased to be getting this. I've wanted one of these for a while. I have got a little bit of nostalgia for this thing that's coming from Japan, but I'm not going to say any more than that until it arrives. Next up, for the Super Nintendo, this game has plagued me for a long time. I nearly picked this up about 3-4 months ago. I was up country, and I saw it in a CEX. It didn't have the manual, and that bugs me. I've got to be complete in box. For most of my stuff, it's got to be, I've got to have the manual for it. Game Boy games, I collect loose. I'm quite happy to collect that. There must be a switch in my head. But this, I've been after for a long, long time, and it just popped up. So, yeah, Super Double Dragon. The only thing I would say with this is, I would like to say, I said in my one of my videos that I was obsessed with Double Dragon. Been obsessed with martial arts most of my life, Bruce Lee, you know, Enter the Dragon, etc. And I remember this being on the Specky back in the day. Remember the posters and the artwork of Double Dragon. I think that's even a film. Don't quote me on this. I think there's a film called Double Dragon. Excuse me. And yeah, but this plays slightly differently to all the others that you used to get on the Master System and the Mega Drive. It doesn't start off with the garage door opening up, which is a little bit disappointing, but I'm a big Super Nintendo fan. Anybody who watches the channel knows I'd have to say it is probably my favourite console of all time. So to have that in the collection, I'm well pleased with. Right, next up we have got Contra. Contra Advance Alien Wars XE. I found this in a local retro gaming shop. It was there, it had no price on it, as per usual. And I've wanted this for a while. Like most games, I want. My eyes are bigger than my belly, but as anybody knows watching the channel, I am a massive Contra Probotector fan, like massive. I love running guns. I think most people that grew up in the 80s loved, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rambo, and for me, this sort of emulates that really. And obviously, you know, Super Probotector, Alien Rebels, getting that at Christmas of whenever it was, early 90s, 91, I think I got that. 92. You know, it's just been set in stone ever since then. I've been hooked. It's probably one of the best Konami games ever, in my opinion. It's up there, definitely, as one of the best. And there's a lot of good Contra games. Some not so good, as we probably would know, and it's a personal preference, so I'm not going to say that on the channel, but for me, I love Contra. This is interesting because this actually plays very similar to Super Probotector. It's essentially the same game but for the Game Boy Advance, but there is different levels. So you play the first level exactly the same, it's identical. The only thing is you don't get a choice of 2 guns, and you don't get so many lives. So it's actually, I think this game is slightly harder, if I'm being honest. But then it goes on to a train, and it's slightly different. So I had to get that, because I've got pretty much every Contra game there ever is, apart from, I think it's an NES game I don't own. I've got the first one on the NES, but I don't own the second, so I'd like to get that at some point to complete my subset, if you like. So yeah, so really pleased with that's come along. Yeah, so really chuffed with that. Little sticker on the back that I need to take off at some point, but yeah, brilliant. Really pleased with that. And then moving on, I was in a CEX a couple of weeks ago in my local CX, and I spotted this. And it piqued my interest because, being a Sega fan, I wondered what it was all about. I've played it, and so far my favourite is Fantasy Zone. Had a great little session on Fantasy Zone. I paid about £5 for it. Would I recommend it? Not so sure. The Outrun was a bit disappointing, if I'm honest. That's my honest opinion on it. I don't know what other people think. I was so excited to think that there was like a modern day version of the original Outrun on it. I'm not sure, you know, but I think I paid £5 for it in CX. They're about a tenner on eBay, so I thought I'd give it a go. The Golden Axe wasn't too bad. I haven't played any of the others yet, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think of that. I thought it was all right. It didn't set the world alight. I loved Fantasy Zone. I'm a big Fantasy Zone fan. I thought it was very good. But the Outrun was I was a bit disappointed in that, I think. But there you go. You win some, you lose some, don't you? So last but not least, I was in another CEX and I spotted this. And I thought, well, I like a bit of Arkanoid. It reminds me of Breakout, that sort of Breakout type thing. What was it? There was another game on the Game Boy that basically Mario dropped into the capsule. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And sort of follow on from that. I know this was on the Super Nintendo at some point in its life. But Arkanoid, and for the money I paid for it was very little. In fact, has it got the receipt in there? Yeah, it has. I think I paid £4 for it. You know, £4, you can't go wrong, can you? I think it's a bargain for £4. I mean, crikey, you can't buy a pint these days, can you? So, well, just about get you a pint in some pubs. But yeah, really good. Played that, and I've enjoyed that. I pinched my daughter's DS and was playing that as well. So yeah, worth it for £4. Really chuffed with that. And then last but not least, my wife had got me this. I know these are getting a bit crazy at the moment on certain Facebook groups, etc. I've got the Street Fighter 2 one. My wife was in B&M. I know some scalpers are trying to sell these for silly money on eBay, or were trying to sell them on silly money on eBay. I don't know if that's the case, but there's so many. There's this one, Sonic 3, Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2, and Altered Beast. And I haven't seen the Altered Beast one. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they do a Streets of Rage one. I'm not into collectibles like this, really. I've always been into games. I don't like things I've got to wipe the dust off of. This may stay in the box, I don't know. I have opened up the Street Fighter one, did a little short on that, because I love doing little shorts and making little movies type things. But yeah, so there you have it, guys. There's another pickups video done, October, in the bag. Hope you enjoyed the pickups I've got. So I'm over the moon. I've managed to pick up some more Master System games this month for the collection, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, look after yourselves. I'm a big Super Nintendo fan. Anybody who watches the channel knows I'd have to say it is probably my favourite console of all time. So to have that in the collection, I'm well pleased with. Yeah. Motion detected.